Alright, hello, this is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I'm going to start to embark upon a series of lectures from Murox ASP.NET 4.6 Web Programming with C# 2015. The associated class at Rankin Technical College in Wentzville is AWD1111 Framework with Databases, and it is a class that combines ASP.NET with SQL. So the first book that we're going to use for this class is again Murox ASP.NET 4.6 Web Programming with C# 2015. Now, there are actually 25 chapters in the book. We have 40 days. I'm not that good, but we are going to go through part 1, getting started fast, 5 chapters, to help show you how to use Visual Studio to design, code, and test multi-page web form applications, including those that get database and use session state. There's also an two extended chapters in here that deal with Bootstrap. Section 2, which we'll also cover, which are about the next 5 or 6 chapters, teaches you how to use the rest of the server and validation controls that aren't handled in Section 1. Section 3, and we'll attempt to get through as much of that as possible, you learn how to use SQL, structured query language, data sources, and ASP.NET database-related controls. There just won't be time to go through sections 4 and 5, just so you're aware of that. So, we will go through Section 1, an Intro to ASP.NET Programming. We'll go through Chapter 1. Chapter 2, how to develop a one-page application. Chapter 3, how to use HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap with ASP.NET. Chapter 4, how to develop a multi-page web app. Chapter 5, how to test and debug ASP.NET applications. Again, those are all Section 1, which the author refers to as the essence of ASP.NET programming. Then in Section 2, the next 6 chapters, we discuss how to use the standard server controls, how to use the validation controls, how to work with session state, cookies, and URL, Uniform Resource Locator, and coding. Chapter 9 is how to work with master pages. Chapter 10 is how to work with Bootstrap and ASP.NET. Chapter 11 is how to work with friendly URLs and routing. Alright, what makes this book different than its predecessor that used C# 2012 was Chapter 3 did not have a Bootstrap component, and there was no associated Chapter 10. There was a different type of Chapter 10. Again, we'll also go through Chapter 3, which is on database programming. Chapter 12, which is of paramount importance, is an intro or primer to databases. Chapter 13 is on how to use SQL, structured query language data sources. Chapter 14 is on how to use the grid view control. Chapter 15 is on how to use the details view and form view controls. Chapter 16 is on how to use the list view and data pager controls. Chapter 17 is on how to use data objects with ADO.NET. Chapter 18 is how to use model binding in the entity framework. Even as far as that goes, there's probably no way we will have time to spend a lot of time on chapters 13 through 18. The most important are probably chapters 13 through about 15 or 13 through 16. We will not cover finishing an ASP.NET application, which is on how to secure your app, how to authenticate and authorize users, how to use email, custom error pages, and back button control, how to configure and deploy ASP.NET web apps. From Section 5, I do plan on going over the last chapter, which is how to use ASP.NET Ajax, how to create and use WCF, which is Windows Communication Foundation, and Web API, Application Program Interface Services. In Chapter 25, again, is an introduction to ASP.NET Model View Controller. I'm at least planning on actually doing 25 lectures, one on each chapter, on the PowerPoints that are provided to me by Murox, but I do not plan on giving extended lectures on anything from sections 4 or 5, with the exception of Chapter 25. So again, what I'm going to be doing is I have the author's PowerPoints, and you can see them here, and that's what I'm going to be doing for now for chapters 1 through 25. This was just an introductory lecture to let you know what I will be covering. So I'll be back with an intro to chapter 1 momentarily.